empty glass.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Death Curse Society. We got a little, it's a little smoky down there.
Sorry, boys. Sorry.
I'm your host, Red Crank. I got the Colonel, and I got Zigzag.
Welcome. Greetings and salutations.
Guys, we got a lot to talk about this week. Later on, we're going to be looking at The Beach House. We're going to give it a review. We're going to look at the trailer for The Rental from Dave Franco that is on demand now. We're going to take a glance at the new Shout Factory Friday the 13th Ultimate Edition Blu-ray box set. We all ordered it. I hope you guys did too, because now they're sold the fuck out. Whoops. We're also going to talk about the new Hail to the Deadites documentary about the Evil Dead that's supposed to be coming out next month. We're going to look into the box office numbers for Peninsula, not domestically, but overseas. Let's glance at that and let's talk about what happened where we could do something better here. Before we get to any of that, don't forget to hit subscribe. Make sure to knock that notification bell so you know about every video we release on Death Curse Society. Follow us on social media. And let's get into it and let's go camping.
You're going to Camp Blood, ain't you? You'll never come back again. It's got a death curse.
For Let's Go Camping this week, we're talking about Chucky coming to TV in 2021. That's right. Here's a teaser that just got dropped. Check it out. In the new Chucky television series, after a vintage Chucky doll turns up at a suburban yard sale, an idyllic American town is thrown into chaos as a series of horrifying murders begin to expose the town's hypocrisies and secrets. Meanwhile, the arrival of enemies and allies from Chucky's past threatens to expose the truth behind the killings, as well as the demon doll's untold origins as a seemingly ordinary child who somehow became this notorious monster. Okay. I didn't see that last twist coming. Colonel, what do you think about this? Are you excited for Chucky coming to TV?
So I'm fairly excited, not super fucking excited, because I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Child's Play series. I think after the first 3 films, it really went to shit. But I like the idea. It's a good way to rejuvenate Chucky to younger generations and older generations that's been following these movies since fucking began. You got a lot of the same cast coming back. That's a huge selling point right there. And you get a little bit behind Charles Lee Ray's backstory. So if I'm serious, if I find out he listens to Kiss and he grew up in a white trash home with a mom stripper and he's torturing animals, I'll be like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. So please stay away from that. But I have a feeling it's going to be something similar to Michael Myers' origin story.
I personally am hoping it's not like that, but that last line of the synopsis where they're talking about a sinister child becoming a notorious monster worries me quite a lot. Ziggy?
You had me at horrific murders. Let's catch up here real quick. Now, this is Don Mancini, the creator of the Child's Play characters, the story, the original movies. This is his baby, and this is his answer to them, the studio that owned, bought it from him, making a movie without him. Now he gets his chance to tell how he wanted to do it. I'm with Colonel. I am not a fan of this movie, of the series beyond the third one. Maybe a little bit of the fourth one, a little bit. But it got too silly for me, almost Freddy silly. Here we are on TV with an interesting couple of twists to the stories. I'm interested to see who he was before, we got to see him in the movies and everything. So hopefully, I'm just hoping everything ties in well with the movies, preferably the earlier ones. I support it. I plan to watch it.
One thing we found out in the trailer that I really don't get yet is they're airing it on 2 different networks. I assume at the same time. One on the Sci-Fi Network and then on the USA Network. I assume maybe that's because the 2 networks, certain streaming services may have one, or cable providers may have one, but not the other, and they're trying to reach a wider audience. Colonel, do you have any insight to this or thoughts on that?
To me, it really doesn't make sense. It's going to be on 2 basic cable channels that everybody fucking has. Now, I know they're the only ones that do this. Like, I'm a big enough nerd, like when they do BBC, Planet Earth. I mean, they show it on National Geographic, TLC, Animal Planet, blah, 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 blah. They show it on like 6 or 7 different channels, all owned by one parent company. I guess if I'm going to choose to watch it, I'll watch it on Sci-Fi Channel. The USA hasn't had shit for me to watch since fucking Burn Notice ended. So I kind of gave up on USA years ago.
What station did you say you're going to watch it on?
Probably Sci-Fi.
It doesn't matter what station you watch it on. Let me tell you, that's exactly what it is. The cable providers aren't available in some areas. It's just that simple. They sold it to both. It's probably they're going to air at the same time on both channels.
I will add to the USA programming that was good in the last several years on top of Burn Notice, a little show called Psych. If you didn't watch that, that was brilliant. Not horror, but brilliant. I just want to throw that out there. Some other news that we've got about this series, Brad Dourif is reprising his role as the voice of Chucky, and Jennifer Tilly has even alluded to the fact that she's on board for coming in. Not exactly sure how. I assume she's one of the allies mentioned in the synopsis. Ziggy, what do you think about that?
I'd much rather prefer to see like Chris Sarandon show up. If you didn't have the voice of Chucky, this whole thing is a train crash, wreck, plane crash, whatever you want to call it. There's a whole cult of Chucky fans that are into the Brad Dourif persona. Without him, this doesn't even get off the ground.
And also, when this occurs in 2021, Brad Dourif will have played Chucky in some way, shape, or form over 5 decades of his career and the entire span of this series, basically. Colonel, what do you think about the additions of Dourif and Tilly?
You need Dourif, honestly. Mark Hamill did a great job voicing Buddy, but Buddy isn't Chucky. Chucky has a very distinct voice. We all know who the fuck that is. You change it up, like Zach said, it's a no fucking sell for anybody. Jennifer Tilly, it's going to be great. Again, she'll probably show up as Tiffany, but maybe not the doll form, but the human form. Because let's be honest, other than Family Guy, what else has she really done since introduced in the Child's Play series? So, hey, good for her. Get that paycheck. I know she adores the role. She walks around with a Tiffany doll all the fucking time. It's kind of weird.
It's kind of funny. We did a live show the other night where we talked about movies from 1983. We talked about Jennifer's sister, Meg Tilly, in a couple of those movies, which I think is kind of ironic. And now we're talking about Jennifer in this stuff. That's kind of nice. Jennifer Tilly has been busy lately in the poker world, which I know Ziggy used to be sort of into. Do you think she's ready to come back to acting a little bit with this, or is she going to do more, or what do you think?
Yeah, it's so funny you said that, man. It's like we didn't even do any pre-prep on that. I was just going to say she's WSOP bracelet women's poker champion, No Limit Hold'em. As far as Chucky, that's where the bread and butter is for. I mean, why not? Watching her play cards on some of the broadcasts, you could just tell that's the kind of fun role she would get into and enjoy. Right. And that's why she has for so many years.
Let's go back to the synopsis for a little bit, because it's taking the series from where it was originally set in Chicago and taking it to an idyllic American town. Kind of sounds like a small town scenario picked up in a yard sale. They're changing the setting quite a bit from what we're used to. Do you think that's going to cause any kind of issues with, or do you think it's just going to open up a new world for Chucky to go through?
A new adventure and a new setting, that can't hurt. I don't think that hurts at all. I think that'll be good. Probably be easier to conceal things in a smaller rural area. You
just mentioned it may be easier to conceal things. It almost sounds like this town has some fucked up shit going on before Chucky even shows up. So there's secrets and controversies already going on. Him showing up may just be kind of like, yeah, this is my kind of town, like a porn addict going to Vegas. Colonel, what do you think about the new setting and that kind of twist?
I fucking love it. Here's why. You're in a small town. Everybody knows fucking everybody. You have your outsiders that the town doesn't fucking like because they don't conform to their rules or the culture, whatever. So if someone ends up dead, I know who did it. It's fucking Becky down the fucking street. That crazy bitch. Look at the Salem witch trials in history. If you are a pariah in that society, you're going to be the first one to be pointed for these murders.
Right.
That's a genius way to go to make this a television series. Because if it's still in Chicago, any major city in America, people are getting murdered every day. People don't, you only blink an eye. But a small town, that's big fucking news. It's going to be interesting, I think. I like that take on it.
I like your point about everybody knows everybody in a small town. It's like, well, my sister's cousin's boyfriend who works with this one guy, they went to school together and they know this Chucky character. They remember him from high school. You know, there's going to be like weird shit like that, I think. A little piece of news we got is that there's going to be more F-bombs in this. That's the word fuck for those of you that are following along. There's more F-bombs in this series than any other show that USA or Sci-Fi have ever aired, which isn't necessarily rare because it's not really a common word that's used on basic cable, but there are limitations by the FCC. Colonel, how do you think they're going to get around this?
I'm not even shocked. I mean, like I said, What We Do in the Shadows, people not watch that, they drop at least 1 or 2 F-bombs every episode. You're allowed. It's not the shocker it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, like when that one show said shit for the first time.
Hold on. Now, you've always been allowed to say it. It's just people curtail to the advertising. That's why the cable companies didn't swear. That's why it went that way. Not because they had to. They chose to get the green. You know,
Well, chose to get the green or not. Like I said, there's nothing shocking about that anyway.
No, of course not.
If you want to shock people, redo Leave It to Beaver and keep it exactly the fucking same. That'll shock people more than people saying fuck on TV anymore.
Ward, I think you were a little hard on the beaver.
That's why you're walking funny, bitch. TV and movies have always had this like weird, twisted affair with language and visuals. In the 70s, it was controversial when you could hear a toilet flush on All in the Family. That show was controversial for its time for many reasons, but that was one that pissed people off. They were like, you can't flush a toilet. Psycho even broke the way in the 1960s by showing a toilet flushing. You weren't supposed to do that back then. The fact that USA and Sci-Fi are allowing Chucky to say, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this shit, I'm out. Whatever he needs to say, more power to him. I think it's time. It may limit some advertisers, but let's be honest. A show based on Chucky is going to have a very small window of advertisers that it can reach anyway.
Oh, no. These stations are some of the ones that are now, like, don't care anymore. The ones that are letting it happen and said, hey, we're going to, and always have. That's how it should be. There's still plenty of people, plenty of advertisers lined up. Just, you know, some of those bigger ones, they kind of, that family-oriented type message that they're trying to spend, you know, and show, they're the ones that avoid it. You got plenty, and you can say it now. There's shit, some of the regular, normal primetime stations you're catching S-bombs here and there, and we're moving along in that department, but oh, Lord.
Do you think the content of the show, along with the additional language, do you think that's going to inspire boycotts, Colonel?
Well, in this current culture we're in, fuck, who knows? Cancel culture's real, folks. I fucking hate it. I would hope not, because it's fucking child's play. I mean, you know what you're fucking getting. You know what it is. If you're offended by it, don't fucking watch it. I'm sure. I mean, I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised.
You know, the cancel culture, people are calling for the cancellation of the cancel culture. I mean, it's not working. 10 times more serious things going on than your stupid protests for canceling a show or a character or something. So I don't think there'll be any problem with the child's play.
A lot of times when a movement like this does start, though, it starts with like a hashtag. Recently, the Sinclair Broadcast Group drew some ire from people because they were wanting to broadcast something, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to get into it. If you know, you know. And the hashtag boycott Sinclair started trending on Twitter. Pretty heavily trending for a good day, 2 days. I kind of at least expect boycott Chucky to happen at some point. I like the fact that you guys are both, cancel culture is real, but even cancel culture is trying to cancel the culture of canceling. What if we were to start right now a hashtag boycott boycotting?
Right.
Can we get that trending?
You know what I'm going to do? If you get hashtag boycott Chucky, I'm hitting them with a hashtag show me your Loomis.
Show your Loomis.
Show your Loomis.
Could we possibly get boycott boycotting trending somewhere? You guys out there agree? Hit it. Get it all over the fucking place. You know, I don't know how this works exactly. We're just, along for the ride.
This I can tell you. You cannot boycott this show. It is tremendous, and it cannot be boycotted. It's unboycottable.
That I can tell you. All right. Thank you for throwing that in there. I appreciate that. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for Let's Go Camping. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. Stick around.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
Wondershare Filmora is a user-friendly, easy-to-use video editing software which contains hundreds of special effects for video that allows you to easily create a unique visual effect. Head to www.wondershare.net and get started editing now.
The Death Curse Society has just become an associate producer on the film.
Yes.
Bravo! Bravo! Death Curse Society, guys, is so awesome. I met the guys, all three of the guys, at Indianapolis last year for Horror Hound. And I met those dudes, and I gotta tell you, like, I hung out with them, we took pictures, I signed some stuff, they gave me a t-shirt, it was awesome. They are awesome guys, so super cool. I am so glad to have them on board this campaign and also on board the film, and now they are gonna be IMDb credited as producers on this movie.
Hi, this is Danielle Harris, and you're watching Death Curse Society.
Welcome back to Death Curse Society. We've got a lot to talk about in Stories Around the Campfire. God damn, smoky already.
Right, Sag.
I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason.
Hey, come back, come back.
First up on Stories Around the Campfire, The Beach House, now available exclusively on Shudder. We showed you the trailer last time. Now we've seen the movie. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Colonel, give us your review of The Beach House.
You want my fucking review? Let me tell you.
Oh, shit.
Actually, I found the movie rather enjoyable. It did get a little slow in parts, but if you're a huge fan of Lovecraft, this movie is for you because it is a Lovecraft love letter like a lot of movies nowadays. I thought it was decent compared to most of the other films we've seen in 2020. Will it make my top 10? Who knows, because I don't even know if we'll have enough movies to do a top 10 in 2020. I enjoyed the story. Got a young couple going to the boyfriend's dad's beach house for a getaway, and they find another couple there. I mean, you really didn't connect with anybody other than the main character, which is nice because honestly, she was the only one I gave a fuck about. Weird shit happens. Got some fucking dead-eyed eyes running around, crawling around and shit. A fucking fog going around the town. And a nice, non-happy ending. You know, Crank has a different opinion on that. So I'll leave you with that. Overall, I thought it was a decent movie.
This movie had a good setup. The director decided to get very artsy with every glass of water that they could find in this beach house. Like, it needed its own close-up. And I understand, okay, there's some virus in the water. Okay, we get it. It's floating in the air now. We get it. You don't need to close up on every fucking glass of water that's in the goddamn house. Personal opinion. One of those things that drives me up the wall. The main actress was good. The fact that the couple is going through kind of a rough patch, it seems like, before they get there. It seems like the boyfriend is trying to do this to rejuvenate the relationship. He wants to keep it going. She's already got at least 1 foot out the door. They played that pretty damn well. The older couple that happened to be there, they were good too. It was a nice kind of juxtaposition between the two couples, especially when they were having like dinner together and talking about their future and the older couple's past, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, there was this general convention that's in most movies like this where for some reason the main character has an interest or is a specialist in exactly what's going on. Weird how that happens, just ironically all the time. There's a virus in the air. I'm going to grad school to be an immunologist. How did that happen? In a nutshell, to me, this movie turned out to be almost like a combination of The Fog and Cabin Fever. Another thing that irritated me about this movie was the amount of crawling that the main characters did. I would say they spent half the movie crawling around on the ground.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Lohan. This is how a crab walks.
It sure is. Fun to be brave.
There was more crawling in this movie than there was in the movie Crawl, which I thought was fucking weird. Finally, it has this non-ending ending, which always drives me up the fucking wall. I hate it when you don't explain what the fuck is going on. It's almost like the filmmakers didn't know what was going on. They were just like, we want a foggy virus to go through the air. Where'd it come from? Who fucking cares? We don't know. We don't know where it came from. Fuck that. Just put it in there and then end the movie like without explaining anything. Boom, done. Fuck that. No, tell me why it's there. Tell me why it's affecting people this way. I want to know. But I digress.
All right, Crank, you know what? You have very valid points, which my interpretation of the film, they were crawling. Of course they were crawling. They were fucked up. How else are they going to get around? Especially the boyfriend. He was fucked. And the chick had to pull that fucking worm out of her fucking foot, man. She ain't going to be able to fucking run. Now, if you're thinking about the fault, yes, I thought that was a little stupid. But, I mean, if you really think about it, the shit's in the water. But I do see where it's kind of a fall ripoff, even I was like, seriously? And I was really giving this movie a chance. I thought it was stupid too, but I just didn't hate it as much as you did. And the ending, spoiler alert, she tries to escape. She fucks up. She can't escape. She goes back to the fucking beach. She's laying there and the water washes over her. And pulls back and she's gone. Does she get pulled into the ocean? Who fucking knows? Does she fucking morph completely? Who fucking knows? Does she become animals? Who fucking knows? Did the rapture happen and she ascended to fucking heaven? Who fucking knows? But I dug it because I like to think she got dragged into the fucking water. But they don't tell you. It's up for interpretation.
Non-ending ending. Fuck that shit. I hate it. Tell me what the ending is. I don't want to interpret this shit. You don't want my interpretation of it. You know what my interpretation of it is? Like I said, the filmmaker didn't know. They didn't have a solid answer. Or are you going to save the solid answer for the sequel that you're probably not going to get because this movie's a piece of shit?
They're telling me this movie's worse. Fantasy Island, The Grudge remake, The Turning. I know you haven't seen it yet, but Relic, the movie I reviewed on last episode, that's just off the top of my head. 4 movies that came out this year that are worse than this. Now, I'm not even saying this is a great movie. It's worth a watch.
I shouldn't maybe say this movie's a piece of shit. There are some redeeming qualities of it. Let me put it that way. I can definitely see that this is a Shudder release. And that's not to knock some of the stuff that Shudder does. Shudder does some good stuff from time to time. I do not see this being a theatrical release in any other year. So for it to be on Shudder, sure. But no, I don't know if it's better than or worse than the movies that you listed, but it's in the same grouping. We're getting to that point where we may not have a top 10 movies of 2020, like you mentioned, because there just haven't been that many released. Because if this, just by default, creeps into my top 10, I'm burning somebody's house down.
Yeah, man, Blumhouse style. 2020's movie slate is exactly that. It's living right on par with the real world right now.
We always do it. Let's give it a score, Colonel.
This movie had plenty of positives and negatives. Watch it, especially with Shudder. It's worth at least one viewing. If you like the color out of space, I have a feeling you'll have interest in this movie at least. That being said, I've seen worse. You have to give it a 5. That might be a little generous, but compared to what I've seen this year, that's one of the better films.
I have nothing more to say about this movie. I give it a 3. That's it. The Beach House, available on Shudder right now. Watch it. It is short. I mean, you're not going to waste like a whole bunch of your time if you watch it and agree with me. Or maybe you'll like it midway and agree with Colonel. Who knows? Or maybe you'll be the smart one and not watch it at fucking all, like Ziggy. Fuck you, Stoner. Next up on Stories Around the Campfire, we got a trailer to show you for The Rental on video on demand now. Check it out. We'll talk about it after.
Let me show you out back, and then I'll get out of your hair. The stars are insane out here.
I should have brought the telescope.
What do you need a telescope in the city for? Unless you're like a peeping Tom or something.
Charlie! Tell me that's not a camera.
Get through the night. We leave first thing in the morning.
What's going on?
I don't know.
Soon, I promise.
This will never be over.
Stop being so calm! Everything is fine.
It looks like this movie is going to change the way you think about Airbnbs in the future. Two couples on an oceanside getaway grow suspicious that the host of their seemingly perfect rental house may be spying on them. Before long, what should have been a celebratory weekend trip turns into something far more sinister as well-kept secrets are exposed and the four old friends come to see each other in a whole new light. Dan Stevens and Allison Brie star in this unnerving and sophisticated debut thriller from Dave Franco. Let's get thoughts from Ziggy on the trailer for The Rental.
Just looks interesting with, a good slasher-esque. I hope it goes slasher. I mean, that would be good for me. I'll like it more. I just felt like I'm going to come out of this one disappointed. That's my early prognosis on it, but we'll see. But I did like the way the mask is kind of creepy, and I like the fact that there's a killer there. That's cool.
First of all, I want to know how in the fuck they managed to get those cameras in on me while I was showing these people my rental house, okay? And I don't know how that camera got in the shower. That was not fucking me, all right? I wasn't watching this shit. I'm not a fucking freak. But no, in all seriousness, this trailer, it looks like your basic cookie-cutter, run-the-mill thriller movie. It really didn't do much for me. I will watch it. I enjoy it. And like Zach, I hope it turns into a slasher. I doubt it will.
This trailer really doesn't give me anything. It's very just bland. Okay, yeah, there's a couple of couples that go up to this rental house. Yay. And they may see a camera in the shower. Okay. The guy that's showing them the house at the beginning is a little off. We're not quite sure. And then there's one decent jump scare at the end. Okay. Doesn't tell me a whole lot. Doesn't give me any real character ideas at all. So I really don't know what to think about this trailer. It does remind me a little bit of a movie from last year, The Intruder, with Ziggy's favorite person, Dennis Quaid. Haven't had a chance to mention him in a while. I know how much you like Dennis Quaid. I think it's going to go more kind of that route than it does the slasher route. That's just me. I don't know a whole lot about Dave Franco. I mean, obviously, this is his first directing, and he was a co-writer on the project as well.
It stinks of a movie that's just going to be run-of-the-mill and forgotten, but may they prove us wrong.
The Rental is available now on video on demand. Check it out with your favorite app or outlet. Next up on Stories Around the Campfire, coming October 13th from Shout Factory. Something a lot of fans have been waiting a long fucking time for. Friday the 13th, complete series Blu-ray set. What's going on here?
Better get prepared.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice. There you go. For those of you that are lucky enough to have the 10 collection that came out 7-8 years ago, kudos to you. For Blu-ray, many of us have this cheap-ass bullshit that we got at Walmart or Target for like $25. This only has the first 8 movies in it, does not have any of the new line releases in it. The Shout Factory collection has everything, and it looks phenomenal. The artwork, the layout, the design, the boxing itself, there's some original artwork that comes with it. If you were lucky enough to be one of the first 7,000 to order it, you got a couple of exclusive lithographs and art prints that came with that will not be available anywhere else. In fact, that set is already sold out, but I expect them to make some without the lithographs in the future and make available for sale.
You can get them. They're still out there. They're available on Amazon. They're actually only $140, I believe, there. But they're going to go quick. Whatever they got. No lithographs, no posters. You missed it. You're like all those bitches on Facebook crying about Savini Jason. You didn't jump quick enough. You missed out. That's it. This is the best set that's ever come out, the most complete Friday the 13th collection ever on a Blu-ray set. I'm sure many of you like us have many versions of these movies on different mediums, but this will be welcome, and it's a hot item. It'll look great on your shelf, and can't wait, man.
Okay, well, as the ringleader of the purchase of this box set out of the group. I want to apologize to you gentlemen for talking you into buying this lovely piece of Friday the 13th history. Like many, I missed out on my chance to get the first full Friday the 13th collection on Blu-ray a few years back in the 10 case. Kicking myself in the ass ever since. I had to jump all over this. The artwork is fucking beautiful. We get 2 bonus extra discs of behind-the-scenes shit that I know we've all seen it before, but fucking I'm a sucker for hearing this shit over and over and over and over again. On top of all that, those lithographs are fucking sweet. And when cons start opening back up, you know, badass that would be to have these signed by Friday the 13th cast members and framed.
Yep.
It's going to be fucking phenomenal. That's what I have in mind for this. Maybe not movie posters, but man, I will have to break down and open it up to get those lithographs out. And one final note, that box set isn't the only thing that's going to be coming on October 13th. I can tell you that much right now.
Well.
You just blew a beautiful moment on this thing.
That brings up something else that we've got to figure out here in the next few months or so. How are we going to do the unboxing? Because I'm definitely going to open mine. It sounds like Colonel's going to open his. But Ziggy, you're probably not going to open yours. Is that right?
Well, if I don't have to, I mean, I don't see why I would. Just saying, man, the thing is already doubled in price for the lithograph version. Just saying.
Like I said, if you haven't gotten a hold of it yet, you probably missed out on that first run. But pay attention to Shout Factory. Check out Amazon. You might be able to pick some up through there.
That's zigzag at deathcursesociety.com. Bring your checkbook. I got your hookup.
Coming soon, hopefully next month, Hail to the Deadites is a documentary that explores the fan base of the Evil Dead series and talks about the longevity of the series in general. Ziggy, talk to us about this. Let us know a little more.
You know, it's a long time coming. It's the documentary everybody wanted. Not really, but Deadite fans, Evil Dead fans, they come in all shapes and sizes. You know, I mean, we're everywhere. I think Bruce Campbell is the source of the fans, you know, and that's what we flock to see. He's the driving force behind Evil Dead. But, man, just to see everybody's tattoos and memorabilia they have and the cosplays, it's awesome, man. I think it's great. I can't wait to see it.
And fans of the Evil Dead franchise are fucking rabid for this shit. So, of course, I want to see a documentary about the Evil Dead fans. I'm one of them. These are my people.
It's always cool to see what the stars themselves think of the fans, too, you know, when they interact with them. And, you know, now they get the chance to hear it from themselves.
Yeah, well, especially, like, take Bruce into consideration here, like you said. Fuck, I'll be honest, I mentioned Burn Notice earlier on the show. Why did I even give it a shot? It's had fucking Bruce fucking Campbell in it. I watch anything Bruce does, thanks to Evil Dead.
I'm kind of interested in this. You know, I don't necessarily need to see a documentary about the fans of a certain series, but it might be interesting to check out. It seems a different way of doing a documentary, which is fine, which is good, and I do like that. Hail to the Deadites will premiere at the Fantasia Film Festival sometime in August. We're not sure when we're going to get a chance to see it because that Fantasia Film Festival is in Canada. So unless you live in Canada, you're fucked. Hopefully we get to see it eventually. Not sure where, not sure when. When we know, you'll know. Stay tuned. Next up on Stories Around the Campfire, we got some box office news for you. We didn't think we'd have any box office news to tell you for the rest of the year. Oh, wait, it's foreign box office. Well, god damn it. Peninsula, the sequel to Train to Busan, is breaking some records overseas. We're excited because eventually we get to see this movie. Colonel, talk to us a little bit about what Peninsula is doing overseas.
Okay, so far, Peninsula's made $26.9 million international box office, which is phenomenal. That's phenomenal in America, even, for a horror film. So, as far as that goes, it's doing great. It hasn't even hit theaters or even to video on demand in the States yet, which is probably going to add another 10 to 16 million if I had to guess. So it is killing it. Congratulations, Peninsula. You're doing well in a shitty world.
I'm excited about this because it's doing that well in only 5 Asian markets. Now, granted, it is a Korean film, so yeah, sure, it's going to appeal to Asian markets in more ways than it somewhat does American markets. But the prequel to this, Train to Busan, was a sensation in America, and honestly, one of the better horror films I've seen in a while. I mean, that was a good damn movie. Ziggy, do these box office numbers look good to you? Or where do you think the movie's going to go? Are we getting it on video on demand? Or are we going to get it in the theater? What's going on?
It don't matter. I will look for this one. You know, the first one is fantastic. If you've not seen Train to Busan, you're cheating yourself of a good time. It's a great horror movie. Running zombies, yes, the zombies run, but it's still scary. It's crafted well. And for a movie that's subtitled, you get it. You don't even have to watch the subtitles. You can figure out what's going on. These actors are that good. The whole thing plays out perfect. And I'm telling you, seeing this was going to have a sequel and then seeing now the trailer for the sequel, I'm excited. I can't wait. It's almost here. Make sure you see it. Go see both. They're great movies. This is great storytelling.
This is one of those movies I wouldn't mind seeing in like an independent theater. I would drive the hour that it takes me to get to either of the independent theaters in my state just to see this movie, and even pay a little bit extra just to see this movie, because that's how much I'm looking forward to it. You mentioned the original, and Colonel mentioned earlier in The Beach House how he only really cared about the one character because of the way the character development was set up. In Train to Busan, you had a lot of feelings about almost all the characters that you meet in the first 10 minutes. There's people you don't like and you want to see get the shit beat out of them, and then there's people you're really cheering for. They set those characters up in such a way, and it just blew my mind. I'm definitely looking forward to Peninsula. I wish America would get their shit together so we could see movies in the theater, but lucky fucking Asians get to watch movies whenever they want now. Good for them. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for Let's Go Camping and the show this time around. We did have a couple of questions, but we're going to have to get to those later. We had a lot to talk about this time around. Colonel, send them out.
First and foremost, a special shout out to Filmora from Wondershare. Great editing program that we use. If you want to look professional like these three unprofessionals, by all means, get Filmora. It's fantastic.
Ziggy.
The internet. You're out there. We're out there. We're everywhere, man. DeathCurseSociety.com. But we got you covered on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and, of course, YouTube. Get over there and subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit the notification bell and get that shit served up right in your face as soon as it happens. That's how you do it in the Death Curse Society, baby.
Lastly, don't forget you can support Death Curse Society in one other way at least, and that's by purchasing a T-shirt. Both of the guys have their regular logo tee on. I'm sporting the Loomis Special Edition. Death Has Come to Your Little Town. These are both available for $20 a piece for sizes small through extra large. Sizes 2X and up are $25. That includes free shipping. If you are interested in the shirt, send your address, the shirt size you want, and $20 or $25 to paypal.me/zigzagisDCS, and we'll get you a shirt in the mail ASAP. Hopefully, Rona free.
Crank is flashing his Loomis.
Don't turn me in for that. Our next episode will be August 13th. We were going to take one last look at Antebellum before it dropped in theaters, but honestly, I have a feeling it's going to be delayed. We haven't gotten the official word yet, but it's coming. We all know it's coming. So we don't know exactly what we're going to talk about yet. So we'll figure that out along the way. Until next time, for the Colonel and for Zigzag, I want to say thanks for watching. This is Red Crank. We'll say DCS out. See you next time. Colonel, don't you have one more thing to say?
Of course. Don't get sick. Watch your...
We'll see you next time, world. Dick is the word you're looking for.
Sorry, got me kid-friendly there for a second.
I don't have to be. The word you're looking for there, fill in the blank, is dick. Woo! Catch you next time. A lot of times whenever a movement like this starts, it starts with a hashtag. It's like, recently there was the... What was that? Was that your fucking dog? Okay. Let me do that again then. Fucking dog. That's going to wrap it up for Let's Go Camping. We're going to... Fuck!
I'm going to throw up on the air here, man.
Please don't.
I don't want to throw up on my keyboard.
I'm a sympathetic vomiter. I mean, if you throw up,
really?
I'm going to throw up.
Oh, sweet.
I won't throw up. I'll laugh my ass off and be like, we're releasing that on Facebook by itself.
This is going viral, man.
Yeah, that would be our outtake reel, though.
Listen. Throwing up on the air gets us some ridiculousness and gets us 1 million more viewers. I'm in. I'll do it.
All right, fine. Throw up. I don't care.
Look at these sick fucks. Watch Death Curse Society.
Yeah, Death Curse Society. It's the blast. From the pit of your stomach.
No.
I mean, if you like the color purple, or not the color purple, but the color out of space.
Do that again.
Oh, that's definitely going in the fucking credits.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Huh.